here with a review for Hugo, the 2011 fantasy film starring Asa Butterfield, Christopher Lee, Ben Kingsley, Sacha Baron Cohen, and Jude Law. Set in the early 20th century, the story follows Hugo Cabret, a young orphan who now lives in a station fixing the clocks and stealing whatever bits and pieces of gears and machinery he can in order to finish his father's work, a special silver automaton, frequently being pursued by the station inspector. However, along the way he meets the local toy booth owner who, intrigued by a booklet that Hugo carries with him that contains details of the automaton, and who decides to let Hugo work for him. At the same time, the toy maker's goddaughter decides to help Hugo out and investigate what he's doing there and what exactly is so special about this automaton. And eventually they discover much darker secrets. The acting all around is great. This is an ensemble cast, and as expected they deliver. Asa Butterfield really did surprise me. I thought he was just going to be some pre-boy cute little actor, but he in fact pulls his weight here and does prove he's got dramatic material in him, giving us all the needed sentiment and making us legitimately feel for Hugo's situation. Chloe Moritz did great as the toy maker's goddaughter, and the two do work off each other really well. Of course, the older actors such as Ben Kingsley, Jude Law, Sacha Baron Cohen, and of course Christopher Lee all deliver their usual great here, providing warm, well-rounded characters that you do legitimately feel for. This isn't a film with villains, and every character has their own respective flaw. That makes them very human, and the actors really do seize upon this and make these characters believable and not just cartoon stereotypes. And Sacha really surprised me. This is nothing like the Ayag Shima, Borat or Bruno. This is him actually pulling his weight as a serious actor and proving that he's more than just someone who makes questionable ethnic stereotypes. Of course, I couldn't talk about Hugo if I didn't mention the design and, of course, the 3D. To put it mildly, it is gorgeous. This, I will say without any shred of regret, is superior to Avatar. This really does feel like you're looking through an open window at this living, breathing world. The 3D here works as 3D should. Nothing is thrown out of the screen at you. Everything feels like it has depth and perspective. Nothing feels flat here. Scorsese understands how to use 3D properly to create a living, breathing world, and he does it to great effect. And of course, the design is very much reminiscent of classic films and has a very strong French spin on the whole thing. But not the cartoony, oh, oui, kind of French. We're talking about beautiful French architecture with all those various gilded ornaments and beautiful sculptures that you associate with French iconography. It looks absolutely beautiful here, and everything just looks polished to a gleam. Everything looks like something out of a storybook, which is not surprising given that this was based on a novel. And of course the automaton itself is very beautiful and very intricate. All the gears and the wiring inside it was very impressive, and I wonder how much of that was real and how much of it was CG, because it looked incredibly realistic. And the score by Lord of the Rings composer Howard Shore is magnificent here. Definitely is not just some stupid compilation of pop songs, and has a very strong French flavor to it, at times reminding me of Professor Layton, with all the French horns and accordions thrown in there to really emphasize the moment, and it gives it a very, again, storybook feel and makes the whole thing come alive and feel very much like, in many ways, a really classic film, which is something I'll get to in a moment when I discuss the script. This feels organic, well composed, and at times it felt very much like a John Williams score, which is very impressive. Of course, the crucial thing, as always, is the script, because as we know, visuals can only carry a movie so far. The script here is fantastic. It is great. The thing about this film is it's been mismarketed as a kids' movie. And while taking it to your kids is fine and they will learn something from this, this is for film fans. This is a movie made by a film aficionado for other film aficionados. This is very much like Cinema Paradiso, but with a big budget. It just has that beautiful feel. The fact that the film discusses so much about silent movies, about pioneering filmmaker George Méliès, who plays a very vital role in this story, and of course the automaton, which is a reference to old stage tricks and illusions that you just don't see anymore. The film beautifully is a love letter to classic films. Scorsese very much plays up this aspect, and it's done really well. It never feels forced, it never feels like fanboy gushing. It feels like it's natural to the story. Through the automaton we get to the world of film, and the world of film, of course, is a magical, illusory place. And I'm not one of these old farts who sits around talking about how movies have lost their magic and how they're all stupid hip-hop music videos these days. But this film is very much a reminder of the magic of cinema, of what is possible when you put your mind to things. As Méliès' classic silent film show, this is a medium that has the power to capture your imagination and your dreams, and this is why the film works so well. It has a beautiful sense of charm to it. If you even know even a tiny bit about Méliès or silent movies, you will love this film. This is a film that is just made for people who know silent cinema. Or heck, even if you don't know that much about it, you can go into this and learn quite a bit, as a lot of this is to some degree historically accurate, and of course all the things, some of the things in here did actually happen. A lot of Méliès' films were lost, and he was one of the great pioneers who really said to people, we can make films a great place for the imagination. And that's what I like about it, and it's through Hugo's young eyes and the eyes of the goddaughter that we really experience this world. And the performances really help to add to that. And I think that it's a shame that this film isn't doing as well as it ought to at the box office. But I get a feeling this will probably be like Scott Pilgrim or Blade Runner, a movie that was not loved upon its release, but got more popular through the home video and DVD market. And so I must give Hugo the only thing it deserves, a gold star. Do not be fooled by the misguided marketing. This is not some dumb kiddie candy floss film. This is a brilliant, gorgeous film made for films. This is a film that celebrates why filmmaking is such a special art, and I cannot urge you enough to go see it. The 3D is incredible, the visuals are great, the music is great, the acting is great, and the story is so rich. If you love movies, you have to see this.